Back again with another Bond review, and today we're going to talk about The Living Daylights. Now we're getting into the Timothy Dalton era, which he only did 2 movies. He did this movie and License to Kill. And it was the first time for me experiencing Timothy Dalton. And yeah, The Living Daylights, really good Bond movie. And Timothy Dalton definitely brought, a hard edge to the character that, from what I understand, is more akin to the novels. That his portrayal of Bond is the closest to the novels, and I haven't read the novels. But like I said, he brought that hard edge and intensity to the role. And, from what I understand, and they talked about this in this documentary, just how close, Pierce Brosnan was almost chosen to play Bond here. And this is back in 1986. And here's a little, and again, they talk about this in the documentary of this movie. But at first, Dalton was not available. So they approached Pierce Brosnan to play 007 again in 1986. And he was given the script to this movie, although he was contracted to Remington Steele for 7 seasons. NBC decided to cancel the show at the end of the 4th season, which meant that Brosnan was free to play Bond in this movie the following year. However, shortly after the end of the 4th season, NBC had second thoughts about canceling Remington Steele and approached the Bond producers directly in an attempt to strike a deal that would allow Brosnan to play Bond in Remington Steele the following year. NBC also offered to completely reschedule the shooting of Remington Steele to ensure that there was no scheduling conflicts. But eventually, Albert R. Broccoli told NBC that Bond will not be Remington Steele and Remington Steele will not be Bond. Brosnan would only play Bond if the show remained canceled. And NBC had a 60-day deadline to revoke their decision to cancel the series. And at 6:30 on the 60th day of the deadline, Brosnan learned that NBC decided to make a 5th season, and the Bond producers prevented Brosnan from becoming the next Bond. And so, when Dalton became available, it was given to him. And also too, what's interesting is there's a screen test of Sam Neill on the documentary, which you'll see. And, Sam Neill's a great actor. But ultimately, like I said, Timothy Dalton was casted. And, Timothy Dalton did a great job as Bond. And he was kind of, Daniel Craig before Daniel Craig. And it's a shame that he only did 2 movies, because it seems like it just seems like somewhat he's forgotten that, a lot more people talk about Sean Connery more because he did a few. Roger Moore did, 7? Like my generation, I grew up with Pierce Brosnan more, watching GoldenEye and all that. But again, it just seems like Dalton is kind of left out of that conversation. And I really enjoyed Dalton. Again, he brought that intensity to the character, a great balance of, more of a darker Bond, but he still had that bit of a charm. And I thought he brought the perfect balance. And again, he was kind of Daniel Craig before Daniel Craig came in. And I like Daniel Craig, but it's like Dalton did it first. Dalton was, the first more serious Bond, more darker Bond. Less of the quips and the funny lines and what have you. Even kind of getting away, and they mention this in the documentary, getting away from the Bond girls, if you will, and kind of, here you have one girl, one, supporting actress. So you're kind of getting away from that, getting away from, again, some of the quips of the Roger Moore era. So yeah, I love Timothy Dalton, and I wish that, he would have done more. Uh, I mean, it's interesting to look at that, Pierce Brosnan was so close to getting this part early on. So we would have had 6 Bond movies with Pierce. But, Dalton, again, ultimately being casted here was the right call. And, yeah, he did a great job. So I guess I'll talk about the plot real quick. I've already talked about some of the casting. Now, the film opens up, the pre-title sequences, you have sort of a training exercise with these 00 agents, and they're kind of dropped in, like, coming down these parachutes and stuff, and this assassin is trying to off these 00s, and Bond has to stop this guy. A really fun way to open the movie. And the theme by the band Aha. I like the theme. It's a good theme. But basically the plot here, you have Bond. His mission here is to organize the defection of a Soviet general. And this guy, you've seen before. He was the bad guy in Dolph Lundgren's The Punisher and The Fugitive. And I think the actor's name is Jeroen Krabbé. I know I'm probably mispronouncing it, but really good actor here. Again, you've seen this guy before, and again I like the way, like, in the beginning where they're trying to get the general out. Really fun stuff. How they kind of they're organizing this defection here, and they put the general through this pipeline. I really like that. So, again, they organize this defection, but long story short, the general is recaptured, and you find out, Bond is trying to find out why the general's defection was staged, because it was staged, and long story short, the general's after Bond, and you also have Jeroen Baker in here as another villain that's in cahoots with the general. And Jeroen Baker is this, again, he's a general, another kind of arms dealer, American arms dealer, but he's into war games. Like, his headquarters, he has like this model of, army, like you see like we call like a model of army men, and he loves to play war games with his models and stuff. And Jeroen Baker's having fun here. So it's up to Bond to stop these guys here, and Bond gets help from this, rebellion, Afghanistan rebellion, and what have you. And that's kind of the plot here. So, again, this general, they defect this general, but he's recaptured, and like his entire defection was staged, and Bond is trying to find out why. And the general's after Bond with Jeroen Baker's character, what have you. And again, that's kind of the plot. Now, again, Timothy Dalton, he's great here. I felt he brought the right balance of, the darker side of Bond, which, again, when you talk about the next movie, that's more of a straightforward revenge movie, which I really liked. But again, he kind of brought that perfect balance of, more of a serious, more of a, hard edge, but still retain some kind of, charm. And again, I really like Dalton here, and I wish he would have done more than 2 movies, just to see what he could have done. I mean, maybe, License to Kill came out in 89. Again, maybe he could have done one more that could have came out like 92 or 93, and then he could have passed it on to Brosnan. But yeah, at least do 3. But still, Dalton's great. You have his girlfriend, who is the girlfriend of the general in the film, General Koskov, and this girl, Kara, is it Kara? I'm trying to pronounce these names. I think it's Kara or Kara. See, I can't pronounce it. But she's played by Maryam Diabo. And I don't know what else she's done. But she was okay. I mean, not one of my favorites. I mean, it's hard to say she's a Bond girl here because, again, they sort of wanted to get away from that, what they did early on, like in earlier Bond movies. But she was okay. I mean, I didn't hate her. I guess kind of more in the middle for me. You have, again, Jeroen Baker here as this American arms dealer, kind of a self-styled general. And his character's kind of a nut. I mean, when you first see this character, like in his headquarters, he has like these statues of, different generals and stuff lined up, kind of like mannequins. And again, he likes to play war games and stuff. And he's an ally of our villain here, General Koskov. And Jeroen Baker, he's really good here. He's having fun. Which he would come back later for GoldenEye as a different character. 007's Contact in that movie. But, Jeroen Baker you've seen before, Walking Tall. He would later be in Congo. But really good actor. And again, it's cool to see him as a villain here. And I mean, looking back, I mean, you didn't really see a whole lot of American type of villains. Not of this type. But, again, really good character here. You would have the leader of this Afghan rebellion. I didn't mind the character. He had John Rhys-Davies. Yeah, John Rhys-Davies here in the film as the new head of the KGB, replacing General Gogol. And John Rhys-Davies, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Lord of the Rings, what have you. Great actor. And but it was cool to see him here. And yeah, he has a small supporting part as the head of the KGB. And again, you have the main general, Koskov, a renegade Soviet general, played by Jeroen Krabbé. And again, I'm sorry if I mispronounce these names here. I'm not great at pronouncing names, but again, he was the bad guy, and the Punisher with Dolph Lundgren, and yeah, he was really good here. So, and then you have also this one villain who is a henchman of the General Necros, and this guy, I'm like, I know I've seen this guy before. He was Tony in Die Hard. Yeah, the first guy that John McClane kills. Yeah, that's him. But yeah, so I'm like, hey, I know I've seen that guy before. And he was the first henchman to be killed by John McClane in Die Hard. So yeah, but really good cast. Everyone does their part well. And again, going back to the girlfriend for a second, the love interest of Bond here in the movie. She's okay. Kind of middle of the road for me. But not like one of my favorite supporting actresses for a Bond movie. As far as the action goes, I mean, there's a lot of action here. I say plentiful, but I mean, there's a good amount of action. I mean, you got the stuff in the beginning to open up the movie. You got the little bit of the action of getting the, general out and the defection of that character. And then that general being recaptured. You got the scene where the Necros character, henchman, is disguised as a milkman. And he goes into this mansion, gets the general out, and you get a little bit of there's this one fight scene that the Necros character has with this one other character. But, sort of breaking the, getting the general out, recapturing that character. There's some little bit of action there. And then you have a car chase with the Aston Martin here, which was fun. And the Aston Martin is well equipped here. I mean, just to name some of the features with the car here. there's a scene where a laser beam is cutting this car in half in the movie, and you see that. So the Aston Martin is equipped with this laser beam. You also have heat-seeking missiles, snow weather tires, because there's a scene where the Aston Martin goes on this lake, and basically you have like these weather tires and also retractable ski runners. So you see the Aston Martin, ride on, ice, which is pretty cool. And a jet engine booster rocket. So, and there, some other good stuff where, Bond and the girl, because the girl has this cello, and she brought her cello along, and there's a scene where Bond and the girl, they're riding down the mountain in the cello case, which is pretty cool. And you got the bad guys firing at them. And the third act is a lot of fun where, Bond is on this airfield and there's a lot of great gunplay and gunfire. And it leads into, Bond on this airplane and, gets into a fight with the henchmen where they're both hanging on to the cargo net. So, yeah, I mean, a good amount of action here with this movie. And it's, shot well. Everything's practical again from the car stuff, the car chase with the Aston Martin on, the ice and all the cool features of the car to, sliding down the mountain in the cello case and, what have you. But yeah, I mean, a lot of good action here. And it was, again, John Glen came back to direct, who did a great job. So, I mean, overall, The Living Daylights, again, it's a really good Bond movie, really good debut for Timothy Dalton. And yeah, I'm sorry if I'm not the best at, pronouncing names here. But everyone did their part well. It's cool to see actors like Jeroen Baker in there and, John Rhys-Davies and the villain from The Fugitive, the henchman, who also was Tony in Die Hard. And again, I like the theme for the movie. So the pacing didn't bother me. I mean, I was fine with the runtime. So, yeah, again, at the end of the day, really good Bond movie, really good debut for Timothy Dalton. And, yeah, so that's my review of The Living Daylights. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for my review of License to Kill. But stay tuned for that, and have a good day.